So, how are things feeling since last Wednesday? Do you feel like things are going well for you personally? Have you hit some bumps in the road? How's the working group you're working with? How's the community? Anything that you want to raise and share with the stewards? And I will pass to YGG to get us kicked off with a temperature check.
Hi, thanks, Tamara. Hey, everyone. Good morning. And yeah, things are. I think in general, I think things are pretty hot, but not really centered at the TEC. I feel like the whole space is pretty hot right now. I was really digging this Gitcoin green pill stuff that's been coming out. I'm not sure if everyone's tracking that. There's the Green Pill podcast now, and I know the TEC, thanks to Juan, TEC has been registered as an impact DAO, which is super cool. So praise Juanca for that. Really exciting, and yeah, I just love that theme and that brand, that solar punk brand, is really emerging and catching on. I think it's gonna be a great uniting force for people across the ecosystem. So yeah, really warm. I'm really excited. We're kicking off this Friday, 5IV and YGG, the Discord Bot Army program 8-week series in the labs. So that's really exciting. I know Griff's excited about that. And also the proposal inverter proposal for the TEC is ready to go. We're just on some very final synchronization between the proposal and some other efforts that are going on with the proposal inverter. And we're probably going to do like a last minute params party this Friday. Sorry for the last minute. It hasn't quite been scheduled yet, but I'll try to make an announcement tomorrow in the community call that there's going to be a params party for the dog food model of the proposal inverter. That might be something that people want to tune into. And then there's like a whole nother crazy proposal that I'm scheming up. This will be coming later, but I'm thinking about how to bring a lot more DeFi infrastructure and liquidity to the Gnosis chain through the whole Ohm ecosystem, but that's like a much longer term play, so more on that later. And yeah, so I feel like the whole ecosystem is pretty hot right now. And thanks, Tam. I'll pass over to Edu.
Thank you, YGG. Temperature. I feel. How can I say this? I feel. I don't know the word correct in English. Like when you are acompañado, when you are in company of people. And I feel now that everyone came back from December, I feel in company again in the thesis. So it feels good. And I share this also with him in our sync that I feel that it's interesting that the public goods kind of talk and the narrative that Owoki built around it. I felt it was a really powerful tool, and I felt it's really interesting to see how much space, at least in our bubble, it has been given to that. But even if that's the case, we should not sleep on it, and also like sort of keep working towards that, because I felt we are in a bubble, and because we follow the same people, and we see the same message. We believe that that's a fact, but probably outside this bubble people are not so much aware. So yeah, those are my 2 cents. I'm quite excited. I feel we are ready to sort of mature more as an organization, and so yeah, I feel it feels good, and I will pass it on to Nate.
Thanks, Edu. Yeah, temperature check is really good. I think the energy here is very, very positive. We get a lot of newcomers who are actually finding pathways to participate, and that's really important, and I'm really happy to see it. Outside of that, I think, there's a lot of progress being made with the reward system, which is really exciting. I'm excited to see that being implemented. But yeah, outside of that, I think everything's positive. Everybody's energized, and yeah, keep this going on. I will attempt to pass it to YGG.
YGG went already, but I think I'll just swing over to Wonka.
Thanks, Tam. Hello, everyone. Yeah, this week has been like a roller coaster of emotions for me because I get really affected, and it like occupies a lot of my thought um, when I see like news of war in the world, and that hits me really hard because what I really want to work is in peace building, and at the same time that motivates me because I feel like gravity somehow is trying to help to build peace in DAOs, and we don't want DAOs to reproduce the same violent practices. So it's a lot of been thinking about non-violence and the importance of non-violence in these new institutions because otherwise we can continue repeating. And at the same time, I feel super proud of the new contributors like Jeremy, Lean, Bianca, that has been leading really amazing calls. And I like the way that Gravity is going because some of the projects that we wanted, we are being able to do something about them, like also the possibility of bringing professional psychology services to DAOs, because the only source of conflict is not conflict between two people, but there is also conflict with ourselves, and we can do something about this psych in these communities to build a culture. And yeah, that's what I am in. But the only other thing that gets me a little bit bummed is that I don't know why the gravity proposal hasn't like continue drawing more engagement, even though that we are like continuing our activities, and I feel we gained a lot of momentum. So yeah, I think we should continue promoting people to support our proposal. And I'll pass to Griff.
Yeah, honestly, I'm pretty bummed about the gravity proposal too. But like conviction voting is really cool for that though, because like I felt compelled to actually remove my support from gravity because it wasn't going to pass. So I could pass some smaller proposals first. And I think, but I think we need to do a little bit better job of brigading for our proposals. So I don't know if you reached out to any whales, Wonka, or like suggest, how we're advertising to our community. And I think it's not on the TEC comms so much to advertise, but for the individuals that will benefit from the actual proposal being passed to reach out to people. Because yeah, it broke my heart to remove. I had to remove all my votes from comms from Gravity because there wasn't enough support. It wasn't going to pass, and I could actually help pass a small proposal for TE Academy, for instance. And voting engagement is really difficult, and I don't think that we're seeing a lot of engagement from the whales. And so I think that there needs to be some honest outreach and feedback, I guess, advice process from the people who have the TEC to pass these proposals and see what they need to engage. But other than gravity, I think after ETH Denver, I was blown away at how many references to the TEC there were, and in general, also just like hanging out with Livia and Tam and the whole crew. Chewy and Mitch and just everyone there. It was so nice, and I'm still kind of high off of that. So I'd say that in a total, we're still pretty warm, if not hot, as far as temperature check. And but I do think I'm surprised that there hasn't been more voting engagement. Also, the permissions on the the tributes change is also something that's on my mind. I'll pass it back to you, Tam.
Awesome. And I'll pass it over to Manu.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah, for me, it's been great guiding people, learning from them. I enjoyed that a lot, creating community amongst new members. And something that came up is and I mean we already have a tag on GitHub of like a good first issue, so for good for newcomers, but it is something that has been coming up, like how do we structure or systematize our process so that people can just seamlessly get plugged into some type of workflow. So I think I could do a better job of getting, learning from different stewards. What are some tasks that could be good for newcomers within each working group, and just relaying that to new people. So that's, I guess, a personal temperature check for comms. I mean, I've been preparing for the DAOist event. I'm excited to meet everyone I mean Chewy. I know it's Chewy, Griff, Lauren. I hope it's you, Mitch, as well. I know it's the Give It crew. Hopefully, I'll get to meet you guys as well. And yeah, excited to keep doing some research on Omega and bringing in subject matter experts for consilience. That's something else that I think could use more traction. And regarding voting engagement, I think it'd be interesting to, maybe I'll put a forum post about, flocking. Like, how do we either start devising a method to the madness, or just guidelines, or just, because support groups are going to rise and they will create sort of like their own dynamics if we don't suggest one or start explicitly noting the dynamic that is currently forming around voting and flocking and whatnot. So that's something interesting for SoftCup. But yeah, I think that's my temperature check. And I think Lauren hasn't gone. I'll pass it to Lauren.
Thanks, Manu. Yeah, my temperature check was like 100.4. Yeah, it was the ETH Denver Buffetron. It was hot. It was really hot. But yeah, no, I my temperature check still, I feel like I'm coming right off of ETH Denver, so I'm feeling pretty warm. There was such a good TEC crew there. Tam gave a great talk, Livia gave a great talk, Griff gave 2 great talks, and I was on a few different panels talking about the TEC, and a lot of people were really just interested in talking about Giveth and the TEC and funding public goods and like basically using bonding curves. And it was just like a great opportunity to connect with so many different people. So I'm still kind of like buzzing off of all of this networking, and then kind of like then coming back into working like the last couple of days after like feeling really, really sick. So my temperature check is warm, hot, because it was like really nice, good times. But then I also feel very overwhelmed with like trying to figure out everything that's going on and slightly lost. I came into this call 10 minutes late. Is anybody missing? Maybe I'll pass back to Tam.
Yeah, I'll pass to Vi. V.
My temperature's pretty hot right now, and I'm really excited about all the things that are just starting up, and it feels like it really feels like that there's something going on, like things are starting up, and some of the working groups are becoming more say organized. So like, for example, I'd like to see how praise turns out. Like, I think there's going to be a launch on 7th of March, so excited for that. And the TEC Labs collaboration with YGG, I'm really excited to do that and see where it goes. And that's pretty much it.
I'll pass to Zep. I'll pass to Zep. Just keep swinging it along.
Yeah, thank you, Tam. Yeah, temperature check is good. Like, I really feel grateful. Like Griff find like some issues with the Dune dashboard. Like after the Mitch proposal of the tributes change, so it broke the chart of the price minting on board. And then GH, like even if he was already paid and everything, and our agreement was just to add multi-sigs when needed. Like he with a smile, like he just fixed it, and yeah, he's a hero. I love him. The other thing, yeah, I actually like trying to gather people to really start talking about the swaps with other communities. Like I was talking a little bit, for example, like with Bright ID, like this, like, and talk a little bit about numbers, and they're saying like normally they are doing like 100k swaps, and then Honeyswap also are doing like 200 for this quarter thing. And then I like our budget is not that high, like to be everywhere with this amount of money. Maybe like start discussing those stuff, like holding space to talk about that stuff. So maybe like we want to do little with each community. Maybe we want to do one or two bigger ones, and then that's it. Or I would love to host some space to start talking about that. So yeah, if anyone is interested, just like let me know so we can create a doodle and have this space. And I would love to announce it actually tomorrow on the community call. And yeah, I'll pass.
I'm interested, Zep.
Yeah, thanks. I'll DM you, YGG, and I'll pass it to Jeremy. Did you go?
Thanks, Zep. My temperature is windy. Like it's a very, very spring day. Right? I find myself with like all of this sort of like freshman energy and like full of fucking excitement, and at the same time like immediately outside the boundary of like the little like home pod I'm sort of developing in gravity, I notice there's like an incredible amount of turbulence as I sort of step into this space that's just like so fucking big, and I don't really have a good map for it. So it's just like every time I turn around, the more I look at it, like the more choices are sort of like arising and the more detail, and it's a lot to take in. So I definitely have this sense of like, holy shit, especially as I'm trying to sort of span contexts, because that's what the 5-year-old version of myself loves more than anything. I noticed this idea about the gravity proposal is sort of like, well, on one hand, there's a desire of like pass this thing, but I mean, what might happen if we consider the fact that it's not passed signal instead of like an aberration? How might we sort of go back to the drawing table and retool it and reevaluate it in a way that like gives us something that everybody just goes, oh yeah, fuck yeah, this second pass, that's the one. So yeah, that's what's up. Anybody else?
I'll swing it to Mitch, who hasn't gone yet.
Unmute button, yeah, nice. Yeah, I'm feeling lukewarm. I'm looking at this this garden we made, and nothing's really moving, and everyone's sitting in the abstain pool. So I'm like, wow, the best laid plans, and we just like can't pass funding proposals to get our working groups funded. And so it feels like we've kind of like rested on the laurels from like launching the commons upgrade, and maybe I'm feeling disconnected, but like the main goals, the things that I find most interesting, like aren't advancing very quickly, and then the rest of it I'm feeling out of touch with. But I mean, I was on vacation, I was at a conference, so I'm feeling it a little bit lost, and I feel like things are going quite a bit slower than we hoped in the TEC. And I want to pass it to somebody who just talked. Go ahead.
Can I just comment briefly on the proposals? For me, it's just like, and this is come from a personal aspect. The proposals, we used to pass proposals or help to pass proposals because we were outreaching people a lot. This is something that's not happening currently for all proposals. So I really encourage people, like if you're aware of this and you're asking for a lot of money in the proposal, please make that conscious effort to reach Communitas, or make this conscious effort to be aware that you guys need to reach out a lot of people in order to sometimes pass proposals. So that takes time. So take that in considerations. So it's not even probably, we're not in a stage of probably that's a symptom or that's a signaling of people not wanting to pass a proposal. It's the fact that people are not aware that proposal is going on. So just be mindful about that. Back to you, Tam.
Okay, I'll pass it to Mert, who hasn't gone yet.
Yeah, thank you. So my temperature is actually very high in terms of TEC work. Like I have to do many administrative stuff for Omega. I will do that. And also, like, my feeling is that so after the Money Talk Stewards Council, I feel maybe TEC kind of get engaged with those discussions more to have more self-sustainability. But other than that, I think the vibes and the community is going very well. So that was my take on it. And I would like to pass it on there.
Well, welcome, Dare. And so I think it might be your first time joining the Stewards Weekly. And the first point of our agenda is always just to get a temperature check on how you're feeling in the community or how the community feels to you. And if you'd like to take a moment and share, you're very welcome to.
Sure. Yeah, so I guess I can speak a little bit. I did also attend the conference. Unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to meet any of you all. Actually, I may have said hello or something like that. But I mean, overall, yeah, I mean, I think my temperature is definitely hot. I'm trying to get more involved in the TEC, but I think the conference definitely gave me some perspective. Met a lot of interesting people. And so, yeah, I'm just excited to kind of, also did get COVID, but recovering now. So trying to get back into things. And, but yeah, my first time here. So looking to meet and network with all of you guys.
Cool. Thanks, Dare. And Craig, would you like to share anything? Hey, Craig.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. Stewards galore. I guess I'm like Mitch, lukewarmish, and maybe a little bit more because of being disconnected. But I too had to take a week off after East Denver to sort of unwind a bit. It's a lot to take in, and so I'm trying to catch up, and this is the place to catch up. Thanks, Tam.
Cool, and welcome, RX. I think you're also new to the Stewards Weekly. Would you like to take 30 seconds, a minute, and share a temperature check for yourself personally and in your experience in our community so far?
Yes, I've just joined it, Token Engineering Commons. So right now I'm working to help Ukraine, people of Ukraine. There is server on Discord, so even you people can join it. So at least everyone can at least give them moral support as well. At least moral support.
Cool. Thanks for sharing that, RX. I saw that you were server muted. Would you mind muting, because I think that there's some noise coming through your connection. Thanks. Cool. And then I guess I'm the last one to go. I mean, I feel like things are on fire. It's, I guess East Denver was really a catalyzing 2 weeks. I feel like, God, I missed everyone so much in the TEC. I think that this is really exciting because this is the first week that both Stewards and Communitas will be doing distributions to contributors in those two working groups. So I feel like it's a massive milestone. We're here, we've done it. Contributions are being compensated directly by the TEC. And that's, I can't overstate how important I think that is. I had a really nice sync with Gideon, and he's seeing some really big picture ideas for Communitas and onboarding journey and sort of leveling up skill sets in the TEC. There's also progress with this concept of, there being like TEC publishing. So these sort of like, still amorphous shapes are starting to come together. And I think that that's going to be, in time, those are going to be two big initiatives that are going to have a lot of impact. I guess I also got COVID, and so did two of my daughters, who I brought with me to East Denver. So we're on basically we're homebound for the next week. So that's, you know, I guess like the bad news is we can't leave the house. The good news is nobody's actually sick. We're just positive. So so it could be a whole lot worse, and we're very grateful that it isn't. And then I guess I'd say with the proposals too, I think, you know, I sort of had an expectation that conviction voting would just take time. You know, I think that because it's not a vote that passes quickly, you know, yes or no vote that's time bound, which is the kind of votes I think a lot of us are used to. It's just a real different. It's just a really different method for votes to pass. So I don't think it's necessarily a sign of you know, things slowing down or not having momentum. I think it's a matter of what you know, what Eduardo mentioned is when the people who submit proposals, I think we like for the working group or a project, you really need to go out and convince people that this is a worthwhile project and you know, and solicit votes, you know, whip up some votes for it. And I think that's the sort of important lesson that we have. I see two new people have joined, MCB 2001 and Shaheen Rida. We're about 30 minutes into this call, but if you want to take 30 seconds and introduce yourself, you're very welcome to, and I'll start with you, MCB 2001. If you would like to introduce yourself, MCB, you're very welcome to. Okay, what about Shaheen Mrida? Would you like to introduce yourself? You're very welcome to. Okay, I'll keep moving. If you change your mind, just unmute and we'll give you some space. So cool. So the next, and I don't think I missed anyone else. Cool. The next item on the agenda is, hi, hello.
Yeah, I still have to go, sorry.
Chewy, so sorry. Yes, Chewy, go, of course.
Yeah, no worries, Tam. I feel the temperature check is a little bit cold, but rising. I'm really glad that I could attend last week's Steward, the Steward sync, so that I didn't drop the ball with comms teams, which I feel that are going through like a very, very nice momentum. My take on the whole thing about the votes, I agree. I don't think that it necessarily is slowing us down. However, I feel that the impression that it gives new contributors might be like limiting them in a sense, because I feel that contributors do get the impression that things are moving a little bit slower, and I feel that stewards sometimes have to jump in and, you know, like play a role of you know, like just being fostering and oh, sorry. So yeah, I just feel that initiative should be more like around fostering and nurturing initiative, rather than stewards trying to chase down proposals and taking some time for this to happen. So yeah, that's my take on the thing, and I'll pass it back to you, Tam.
Cool. Thanks, Chewy. Okay, the next agenda point is I want to welcome Nate to co-stewarding the Stewards Working Group with me. Obviously, he's done a tremendous job since he's joined, and these last 2 weeks just ran Stewards Working Group. So I think I'm really, really happy to have such a great co-steward with me on the Stewards Working Group. So we'll start splitting some things up, and I think Nate will start running some more meetings and, you know, presenting in the community call and such as well. But I just want to say thank you so much, Nate. You're a total champion these last 2 weeks. And then I don't know, Nate, do you want to say anything?
No. Thank you.
Okay, okay, cool. And then I just created a new thread on the Stewards working group for Stewards monthly compensation. Yay! I hope to get it done by Friday, but I don't know if I'm going to get everyone to be able to submit their compensation request by Friday. I sort of mapped out what the expectation is based on who are stewards and who are working group coordination leads in the Stewards working group funding. So my expectation is for the month of February, the total will be $12,250. But based on our draft for the process and how we share progress and keep everything very transparent, we designed that everyone will make a request for the compensation that is specified in our funding working group proposal. So if you guys want to jump on now, that would be amazing. There's a thread under Stewards Working Group called Stewards Monthly Compensation. And please feel free to hop in there and make the request for funding. And if it's all done by Friday, I hope to make the distributions on Friday. The next thing I want to say is if you're not in the orientation call, you are missing out. It is like my weekly hit of of good vibes and high vibes. It's such a great call. Again, today, such fascinating new people are joining. I think it really behooves the stewards to be present and hear about Eduardo does such a great job of facilitating this call, really bringing people out and sharing some about themselves and their interests. And I really think this is a great opportunity for each of the working groups to sort of start pulling people in, on the first day they joined, and to reach out to people and sort of, pull more interests connect with the people who are joining and helping them integrate into each of the working groups. So it's a party, but it's also a great way to help newcomers land and be successful in our working groups. So I would really recommend people join that. It's too bad that the reminder comes immediately after, but maybe Eduardo and I will remember to drop a message in the Telegram or in the Stewards channel next week before it happens. And then we talked about the garden, or if there's garden or Tau votes. I guess I just have this check now because I don't want us to miss any votes, and it's not bad for us to think about what votes have to pass. In the gardens, I think we have the gravity, which is getting closer and closer, but still a little far from passing, and the two of the teams now, so TE Academy and the translation team, that still need to pass. And then for Tau voting, Griff, you mentioned the step change for the entry and exit tribute. Is that a vote that's currently up?
I would like to put it up. So we had some issues with permissions. All of that is finally settled. Mitch, just to confirm, the bonding curve has now different tribute sizes.
Yep.
So I would like to, but we missed a week on the normal pattern, missed a week and a day actually, and so I would like to put up a proposal to reduce the tributes again. I was thinking just doing it 2% and 1% again, and then just following now every 2 weeks off of this one. I saw in the forum post and responded to Nate's. I hope I responded. At least I started to respond. I hope I clicked send. And I guess I would love a temperature check from the community on if you guys like reducing the tributes. I basically agree that we should do some analysis and figure out where we want the tributes to end up as. But I really don't think the tributes as they are now are great. So I think that we should keep reducing the window and the the pattern of 2% and 1%, 2% decrease and 1% increase adds value. I guess I just want to know if I'm just alone on this thought or if I have support.
I like the idea of Nate of doing analysis and then having like a final parameters that can work and for longer time. And I also think like until we find a solution, we should keep reducing the tributes, because right now like I also think like the entry tribute is so high.
Yeah, we really need to lower that spread.
Yeah, I agree. I think we should go ahead with the plan as planned. It is also kind of like what the community voted on, was like with this expectation embedded, right? So it seems like we should keep going forward.
Any opposition voices for going forward with the continual, like every 2 weeks we reduce it 2% and reduce the entry tribute 2% and increase the exit tribute 1%.
I mean, I'll just share my thoughts. I never loved the idea of step changing the entry and exit tributes, but it was the winning proposal, so I feel like I will back it because that's just that's the plan that won. But I think it's just going to be a difficult. I expect maybe it won't be so easy to pass. Each time we propose it, but I think that since it was the winning proposal, we should move forward with the plan as it was designed. And just try to whip up the support to pass these changes. Are there any major objections that we should raise now?
Hey guys, I have a couple silly questions, not directly related, but kind of related. I know Jeremy in his temperature check mentioned that there's just so much going on and it's easy to forget certain details and get overwhelmed by certain things. Can we have, I just have a couple questions about the voting in relation to the topic about proposals not passing on conviction voting. Can you remind me, is there a time limit, a time cap for proposals to be live? Or what's the sort of termination condition? Like how is it decided that a proposal's not going to pass?
There's no time limit. Basically, someone can just withdraw it. They're locking the TEC in it, and that's it.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, that answers that question. And then my second question was, how does DAO voting work? I know I should know the answer to this.
That's okay. DAO voting is based off of the parameters that were chosen in Goldilocks, which is time-based, yes/no voting. You can't change your vote, and 85% support required, 10% quorum, 5-day voting period that will be extended if there is a change in results at the last minute. And actually, we do have delegation, although we haven't really promoted it.
Awesome. Thank you, Griff.
Cool. Is that enough to move forward, Griff? Is that good?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Okay, thanks for bringing that up. Now, one of the two things that I'm most excited about, rewards update. Mitch, maybe you wouldn't mind giving us an update on rewards, because I feel like it's like the most anticipated project we have right now.
Yeah, so we finished the last test quant, I think maybe last week, and we were able to start testing the analytics dashboard. And it looks like we're going to be good to go from what was he saying? I think from the 15th, we're going to actually start quantifying. Oh, no, sorry, next Monday. We're going to start quantifying real praise data going back from June. And so we're going to rally the troops. We're going to start using the praise dashboard, and we're going to import real data and start getting it quantified. And then that'll be happening in tandem with source cred. So we're going to get source cred up and running, and hopefully very soon this month we're going to be able to start distributing real rewards to people.
That is such exciting news.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome work from the rewards group. Is there, so I guess like my one question is, we're gonna do the backlog first, and then we're gonna do current. Okay, do we know when we're gonna hit current, and are we gonna have like the leaderboard, the 2-week leaderboard that we used to have?
I can't say anything about the leaderboard, but I think we're gonna be doing like 2-week intervals, kind of like how we outlined, but we're going to be doing big chunks of data. So it could be like 1 month at a time instead of just like the regular 2-week sections. But that's fine. We'll just we'll have a bigger quantifier pool participating in each round until we eventually catch up, and then it'll become more manageable.
Cool. I'm super looking forward to that. Do we have how many quantifiers do we have for Monday?
We haven't set it up yet. Christopher needs to set up the praise bot in the TEC Discord. He had it kind of running in like a test Discord. So we need to get that running in our actual Discord. But I think the max pool is still around like 30, 32, I think it is. So we won't have more than that. But yeah, we have to find out what the data is going to look like.
Cool. Unless there's any other questions, I'll move on to the next agenda item. Cool.
I have one question. Is there an estimated relation of TEC per praise yet, or for this first quantification round, or not? No.
No, and like we won't be able to pin it down because like, first of all, rewards are going to be denominated in XDAI and then converted at the TEC spot price when they're distributed. And secondly, the TEC per praise won't necessarily make sense because we're weighting the praise, right? We're giving it a quantitative value.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, cool. And then the next topic, is any other questions before we move on from rewards? Okay, the next Token Engineering Academy, Token Engineering Commons Intro to TE should be March 9th at 9 a.m. Eduardo, I know you're presenting. Have you been in touch with Peter about it already?
Not yet, but I will.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah, please do. And if anyone can join, it's not so friendly for time zones west of CET. It's going to be 9 a.m. Central European time, but it will be much more friendly for, I guess, everything east of Central European time. Wallet change address, I put this back on our agenda because there's an issue for it, but I don't know what the update is. Libya is currently celebrating the Carnival in Rio, as well as sort of recovering from being very ill. So and I think that's an issue that we'll follow up with her on. And so I'll just move on unless anyone has any understanding of any next steps that have happened. It's totally off my radar, and I didn't want us to lose track of it.
The only update I have is the person that requested here on our Discord. I explained him the process a little bit and to message Livia in order to proceed with that. But that's pretty much all. I don't know if in the common stack side if there is any update.
No, I think it'll have to be a sort of a coordination between TEC and Common Stack at the same time, so that we do the change of the wallet address at the same time. And if I remember correctly, hey, Mark.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm sorry. I'm in a restaurant, so I just thank. So I'm so sorry.
No problem. No problem. So yeah, I think the idea was that they were going to submit it to advice process on the forum, the people who are requesting wallet changes, and then once it goes through advice process on the forum, would submit the proposal to the DAO. So I understand that was the issue, but I haven't had any visibility on how that's moving forward yet. The DAOplomacy game, I dropped it in the Stewards channel here in Discord. There is an invitation to participate in a game. The Twitter link is also here. I also dropped it in the Stewards Telegram channel. If there is any interest in doing this, then I think that we could form a group together. I don't know. I don't really know anything else about it, but I would say I just wanted to make sure it was on the Stewards' radar. The deadline for submission is Friday, although the organizers think that they will probably extend it. The deadline for the invitation. Zep, you sort of shared that maybe this was designed for you as a DAO gamer. I just wanted to put it on everyone's radar. I'm not particularly advocating for it because I personally wouldn't be able to join the team who's doing it, but perhaps there's other people who'd be interested. If you're interested, maybe signal on the Stewards channel and can, and if not, then I guess we just let it sort of fall. Does anyone immediately have any interest in this type of DAO to DAO game?
Yeah, I like to try it out. I was normally playing those games like you have Spain, then someone have Portugal and all that stuff, and yeah, I think those games are fun. And also, depends how big the project is, also will give us visibility. And yeah, I would just do it for the fun. So if someone wants to do it with me, that'd be cool.
Cool. I mean, if there's a champion for it, that would be really cool. I'd say if you want to champion it and maybe bring it to the general channel to see if there's other people in our community who would want to join and maybe get together and submit an application to join. I think the organizers would be really pleased to have a TEC participate.
And I'll just one thing. This is something I would really enjoy watching. Like I don't think I would want to play the game myself, but if Zepti, if you were like live streaming something regarding this, I think I would tune in.
Oh great! Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, I share the same sentiment. It's sort of like I'd love to do it if I felt like I had the bandwidth to take it on. I think it's meant to last a number of weeks, so it could be super interesting, and it's a way of bringing competition, but also collaboration between DAOs. So I think it could be neat. So good luck, Zap. I will also be sort of watching from the sidelines and cheering us on if we do end up playing the game. Okay, retrospective is tomorrow, and sprint planning is Friday. So I just wanted to remind everyone about that. If you can update your issues before the sprint planning, that would be awesome. But as usual, we'll also have about 15-20 minutes in the beginning of the sprint planning so that we can update our issues there. Before I go to working group updates, Juan Carlos added bringing the TEC proposal spotlights at our community calls. And I think that's a good idea. I think it came up because now we have proposals, and the idea would be to spotlight proposals. But I'll give the floor to Wonka to share what you're thinking here.
No, Tam, it's just exactly what you said. And that I noticed that we have been ending the community call like 10 minutes earlier. So I think those 10 minutes are the perfect fit for this. I know that there are some proposals that are in the forum, but that haven't created the proposal in Gardens because they're waiting to have like more visibility. So yeah, I think that's the perfect place. Like that one. And also, yeah, I will be super interested in shouting out Gravity or I know Chewy, the team's proposals. So yeah, I think it would be we talked about this last week, but now that we have better quorum, I want to know what we think about this.
Sounds good to me, as long as everyone still understands that sometimes working groups go long or whatever, so we'd have to, it's not a guaranteed 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
I think it's a super great idea. I'd just be really excited to see the spotlights. And I think it moves towards this like mobilizing kind of like a conveyor belt of proposals. People will see the proposals, they'll get more excited and it's inspired to make their own proposals. And I just want to add another note. I think it'd be nice if this is just an idea that came to me now, so I could write a forum post or something. But if we have like a proposal office, or maybe just someone in the TEC who is the designated, like, reach out to this person if you want to have a conversation, if you have a proposal idea and you want to brainstorm it, and just someone who's equipped with like really good templates and just information about the forum. That idea just came to me, so I'm just sharing that here.
And just to add to that, in the orientation call, Gustavo did ask for clarification about like, how does it all work? Who submits a proposal? How do they come up with the idea? So it was an interesting note for me that, maybe it's not so clear to people in the community how proposals get created, go through advice process, go in the forum, pass with conviction voting. And we touched upon that in the call to sort of walk through the process. So I think it'd be nice. I also think it'd be nice to have the proposals that are now either in the forum for advice process spotlighted or on the gardens spotlighted. Is there anyone that wants to sort of spearhead the coordination behind that? I know Nate had been doing it. I don't know, Nate, if you still wanted to do that, or if there's somebody else who wants to work on the coordination for re-adding this to our spotlight. Re-adding the spotlight to our community call every week.
I think it's a good idea. However, I think that they probably should have a requirement of being a proposal first, or at least going through the advice process on the forum before we spotlight it. I think chasing people is a really hard thing to do. But yeah, I'm down.
Cool. Okay.
So there's two things regarding the community call. The first one is that we can just have a section, as you just mentioned, called Gardens, where we just highlight the latest proposals that are on the forum, in case we don't have people coming every Thursday for spotlights. We could still have it, because there is no knowledge, like there is no passing on knowledge to people on the working groups, besides certain working groups that explain, hey, I have my funding proposal and I have this, but what about the rest? So if we just the same spot that we provide for working groups, just do that for the gardens kind of section, if you're gonna call it like that, and we sort of talk about the latest proposals that we have. That it also goes for a snapshot. It also goes for token log. If we have anything there, let's just put it in that category so people know that this is something we talk about. And the second one is the idea that probably we will discuss later on, but it's to add a section for Tea Academy, because it crumbles and it goes. I think we should strengthen our relationship with them, and one of that forms is to having the same way a working group has a section. Also, Tea Academy can have a section whenever they have something to present, to have on not a spotlight, but just like a section on some working group, because I think it's relevant, and every time we're looking for links for Tea Academy, who is the person who needs to be contacted in order to be reached. So it all becomes like really messy when every time there is an introduction or anything, people come to our Discord, they jump into call thinking this is that. So I feel like if we be more transparent and clear in the community call, it could be easier for users to be aware of where to go and what to do. Two things. That's it. Thank you.
Can I add something that's not related to this? I just looking over this DAOplomacy DAO to DAO game. So basically, it's just a method for people to go into other DAOs and stress test their governance, I guess. And do we have any concerns around that and people coming in? And I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up as a potential issue.
That's a great point. There is that last paragraph. Let me read it out loud. That does seem sort of, it's. I'll be honest, it's not super clear to me what the point is. But the last question is, in DAOplomacy, there are no rules, only smart contracts. Bribe opponents with NFTs, gauge your allies' loyalty with betting markets, infiltrate the ranks of your enemy DAOs with cunning and subterfuge online and off. I really it sounds like, I don't know, it sounds like it's meant to be a very competitive game. Like, I'm not familiar with the game that it references, Diplomacy. I guess that's a board game or a video game. I don't know. I think you're raising a really interesting point. Do we want a bunch of people to jump into the TEC and start bribing and buying tokens? And I don't know. There is, there's the Twitter handle here. We can sort of reach out to the organizers and ask them, what the expectations are, or ask more about that. I don't know if that's something you feel like you want to sort of dig into to see if this is some game that we can participate in. But thanks for bringing that up, Nate.
Weigh in on this. I feel like we're not ready for this yet, but this can be like a great thing to check, like our security. I'm not sure if now's the time to do it.
Cool. I mean, Zep, are you okay with sort of taking on, looking more into this game and sort of evaluating whether it's something that you think is a great opportunity for the TEC and will be fun, or like might end up actually be like backfiring?
Yeah, I'll look into that today actually, and say something tomorrow. I know, like, I would also like to chat a little bit with Bradley. I know Bradley loves this diplomacy game, and I think he would be a great partner. But yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, let's dig into all the possibilities and see what we can do.
Cool. And then I'm just going to hop back to the community call for tomorrow. I guess the one concern that I have is, it seems to me like our community calls usually run quite long, but now that we don't have parameters in Common Swarm, maybe it's shifted a little bit. So good point, Wonka. And is there a spotlight for tomorrow that we want to invite?
I have a suggestion.
Shoot.
Yeah. Okay. So there is Kevin. I'm not sure if Kevin or Gitcoin, or if there's even a separation ideologically between the two. But there is this regenerative cryptoeconomics book. There's a Telegram group that's been very active, and I recently joined and invited them to our spotlight present. Well, I invited them to one of our calls, and if the spotlight is back, then that's even better. So yeah, they said that they were interested, so I can plan it and get it set up for them to get on the tomorrow spotlight. So that's one. So yeah, regenerative cryptoeconomics book by Kevin Owocki, and maybe the Gitcoin DAO. I'm not sure if they're, but yeah, that's the project.
So we are at the top of the hour. Just to say, I apologize, I'm going to run 2 minutes over. I think the idea of the spotlight is more to help inform the community of the proposals that they will be voting on. And Owocki and Gitcoin and the book are all really phenomenal, and I'd love for us to sort of spotlight them somehow, somewhere in one of our calls. But I just want to raise the question of whether the community call is the right place to do that, or if we wanted to start the spotlight, like restart the spotlight with informing the community about the proposals that are either an advice process or up for vote.
Completely understood. Yeah, if it's a different scope, then they can do it for another call, and we can save this for something that's relevant to our community. Yeah.